Hey you guys, my name is Lindsay Martin. I'm 21 years old, and today in my vlog I will be talking about my mom. Um, First, I want to touch why I'm doing these vlogs. This is my first vlog ever. I do not have any direct way where I want my vlogs to go. I just want to at least help one person with my stories, or however anyone takes it. I was gonna do vlogs before, but some people were messaging me and saying, oh, you should do vlogs. They like listening to me talk and the way I say stories and such. Well, first, if you don't know, my mom passed away April 7th of 2019. We're almost at the 10-month mark. Growing up, it was just my mom and I. Um, a little background of my mom. When I was in kindergarten, they found a tumor in her head by her pituitary gland, where they ended up taking both the tumor out and the pituitary gland, and that day pretty much changed our whole family's life. It was my dad and my older sister living in the household and everything, and from my mom's surgery came a lot of other like health issues, where she ended up getting thyroid, she became diabetic, her back hurt, so her lumbar and her back messed up during the whole surgery too, so she was only able to sleep in a recliner, and she had like sleep apnea, so if she was to sleep in bed, like she wouldn't be able to breathe and such. In second grade, my dad ended up leaving and not even divorcing my mom. It's a whole story, you know. uh, and my sister was 18 already, she had moved out, so it was just my mom and I was what, 8 years old. And from the surgery, my mom gained a lot of weight. She ended up being 400 pounds, so she was using a cane. She was not able to get ready herself, so me at 8 years old, I was helping my mom get ready. I was pretty much doing everything in the house. She at a point where she was driving with her cane and to get me places, and I got her ready. I would put her bra on, her strap in the back because she couldn't reach it, her socks on. I would have to bring in the groceries, which is, it sounds dumb when I say that, but I pretty much did everything in the house around that age because she was not able to move as well as the normal human being. So you can say that I grew up faster than the regular group of kids my age. Also, after a couple years, she got her weight down. Before she passed away, she was at probably like 250, 280. I can't tell you her weight. It was always a insecurity of hers after she got that surgery, because my mom actually was really small before the surgery, which I don't really remember my mom being small. I just remember my mom being a bigger lady. My mom never missed anything that happened in my life. Sorry, I'm trying not to get emotional on camera. She put me in sports. I was a dancer. I played the piano. I did 4-H. I did all kinds of stuff, and at the time I was always doing something, you know, like I was tired or whatever, but the main reason my mom wanted me to do it is because she wanted me to be able to do everything, you know. Like if I wanted to do one crazy thing or one idea, she'd be like, okay, let's go do it, and she would add it to her schedule. When it just became my mom and I, and literally, she literally lived the rest of her years for me. It was literally sorry, she lived her life for me, which I'm more than grateful, because I had a mom that never missed anything for me. She was there, this is so random, she was there when I started my period, she was there for my first goal, my first basket, my first crush, you know. I told my mom everything. My mom knew all the drama. I never hid anything from her. My mom had my location at all times. We were best friends. Yes, we had our little problems, but because we're human. I was a growing girl, come on, like in my teen years. but I do not regret the life I had with her because I wouldn't be who I am without her. She taught me a lot growing up. She always, she didn't care what other people thought about her. She always helping, and with her whole getting sick and everything, it made her handicapped, so she wasn't able to work the normal hours of a normal human being. So she would do anything to get that extra money for me. We were definitely not the richest, if you can even try to think how much money we had. We lived in a mobile home, and where a lot of people know where we live. It's nothing fancy. Growing up, I was very embarrassed of where I lived because everyone else, I went to Yuma Catholic in St. Francis, everyone else had a nice house. They lived in Barkley Ranch, or, you know, and my house is like not even on the ground. It's not the biggest, but now I love that house. The past couple years, like, that's my home, you know. I was not raised in a nice neighborhood. I'm technically in the ghetto, as you would say. But as I said, everything has made me who I am today, so I'm very thankful for that. Also, there was times where my mom did not know how we were going to eat for the day, and she never showed it, which is really crazy. I never saw my mom cry, like, which is crazy because she got sick, she ended up getting divorced. It was just us two. She was a single parent. You know, everything. She has so many reasons to just quit and give up in a way, but she never did. She was always there for other people. I'm sorry, guys. She was always there for other people, and I think that's one of the big things I've got from her. I care about people more than myself, which is sometimes a good thing and a bad thing, but it's more of a good thing, you know. And I'm actually really grateful how things play out, because so my mom passed away my junior year of college, second semester, and my junior year of college, first semester, I had the worst time of my life. A lot of things happened in California where I honestly never wanted to come back here, where I'm currently in California in my last semester, and I graduate in May, which is very exciting, and I know she's really proud of me and everything. But a lot of factors happened where I was really depressed, I wasn't eating right, I was playing basketball at the time in college, and I could barely make my times because I wasn't eating, I wasn't sleeping correctly. So everything was just downhill at that time, where, like, in class, if I made it to class, I was not paying attention because I was dead tired all the time. Like, we had basketball practice in the beginning, and after basketball practice, we started at like 5 a.m., be done at like 8 because of weights, and then actual practice on the court. And after practice, I'd feel like I went through a full day of life, you know? So sometimes I wouldn't even make it to school, but I'm not even going to get into that whole situation right now. But because everything that had happened, I ended up moving back my second semester of college, where I ended up taking 2 online classes, maybe 3, I can't really remember. But I was able to be back home. I'll never forget the first day I went back to Yuma after my life was horrible at the time, which I thought was horrible. It was the worst time of my life, which I was wrong. And the first day I got back, that night, it was 6 o'clock, and I went to a women's basketball game at YC. If you know, I went to YC, and it was the first day I'd never cried. From August to December, I cried every day, which is crazy to think back at it. And my mom, she never knew what was going on. I never told her until like the last 3 weeks, if that. And I was worried about what other people thought about me moving back. Oh, she's coming back to Yuma. What is she doing here? What happened? Like, why is she, like, just thinking about what people are gonna say if I move back to Yuma. My mom said, don't worry about that, we'll figure it out. What we should be worried about is you. And I feel like a lot of people don't have the support that I had from my mom, because she always was looking out for me no matter what it was, even if I was doing the wrong thing, which I wasn't at this time, but she was always on my side. And so I ended up moving back. It's crazy, like, to think back at this, because I moved back December, a little bit before Christmas, so December of 2018. So that means I was back obviously January of 2019. And those were the best months of my life. Like, she treated me like a queen, which is crazy to think that, like, she just wanted to see me happy because I was as smiley as I used to. But I'll never forget, there was this time where I was happy and I just came back home from hanging out with my friends, and she was like, I haven't seen you this happy in the longest time. She's like, I think this is the happiest you've ever been in your life. And I learned a lot those couple months, that I need to take care of myself at times, and that I do not deserve the worst, you know? I love flowers. My mom loves flowers. It's just our thing. And when I came back, she just wanted everything to be perfect, you know? Like, she didn't want me to be sad no more and everything. And she started buying me flowers. Sorry, you guys. She started buying me flowers, and once those flowers died, she would replace them. And, you know, it's really the little things. That's why I love flowers so much. And in my room back home in Yuma, I actually ended up, sorry, that's Wilson. I ended up having got like a case where I put all my flowers, and I got to hang it in my room, and I love it, you know? Because imagine how many flowers I went through from just January to the day my mom passed away. And that's 4 months, you know? Every 2 weeks she was changing them out and everything. And like, way before this, she gave me flowers for occasions or randomly, but it wasn't, you know, to the excessiveness of every 2 weeks. Anyways, Valentine's game, and my mom has always been my Valentine every year that I can even remember. But this year was different. Every day of Valentine's week, she gave me a different present. And I had recently got into horoscopes, and I'm a Taurus. She knew I wanted this book. One of the days she surprised me with the book. I read it in one day. Another day, I had got into cooking in the past like year and a half. She bought me this new pan, and oh my god, like, my mom loved me cooking for her, which was great, because every time I was doing something when I came back, I always came home to cook for her and I. And it was, you know, it's just part of the schedule, and I'm glad it was like that, you know, especially looking back. So when I say my mom was my best friend, she really was. We were together every time. Every Sunday we went to church, St. Francis Church, at 11 o'clock mass. Everyone knew us together. We did Eucharistic minister together. And it's funny because I'm not into the whole wine thing, and my mom knows that, and she can't drink alcohol with all the medicine she was on. So every time we went up on the altar to do the Eucharistic minister, she would always make sure she was the third person up there, because we don't like doing the choir side, but we like doing where everyone else is sitting. And so when you go up there, there's 8 of us, including the priest, and if there's a deacon that day. And so it goes blood, Eucharist, blood, Eucharist. So my mom would make sure she would get the blood, but sometimes there was times where they would like mix it up. So my mom would like switch me on the altar and be like, here's the Eucharist, I'll take the blood. And I'm like, oh my mom, like, mom, you can't do that. But you know, she doesn't care. And then I remember I remember this time we were doing it, and she really does not like the taste. Like, she doesn't drink at all. Like, it's been so many years, you know. And after you do the blood, if not everyone drinks it, you have to, the Eucharistic minister has to drink the rest of the wine, and you dilute it with water because the altar server gives it to you. And I remember seeing my mom's face, like, she did not want to do that. So I was like, Mom, I got it, like, let me do it. And I remember I like just threw it back, you know, because like if you sip it, you're gonna taste it more. I just whoop, you know. And I remember when we got to back to the pews, we always bowed down together, went to our seat together, and she was like, you're not driving back home. I was like, why? Like, because I always drove my car, and she would be in the passenger, obviously. She's like, because you're drunk. I was like, Mom, I'm not drunk, I promise you. And she really didn't let me drive the car. Like, it was not even that full. And like, if you see in the wine like cups, so like it's probably like to here. So she really thought I was drunk. Anyways, so with that being said, we really did everything together. We went to the store together, like everywhere. Every Sunday also we went to Textura House. That was our place. Like, I have a memory everywhere in Yuma, or anything that had happened in my life, my mom's included. Like, she didn't miss anything, you know. She was always with me, which I honestly do not regret. Some people don't like their parents always be with them, but the bond my mom and I had, like, it was just us two. We've been through so much. We struggled together, you know. And so let's go back, go to the day where everything started to happen. And it's April 7th. The day before, April 6th of 2019, I went to go celebrate a friend's birthday, and I ended up sleeping at one of our other friends' house because I didn't want to drive all the way home because we were going to Mexico. And if you know me, I never go to Mexico. I'm 21 years old now, and I've been to San Luis at the time before my mom passed away twice. As a high schooler and, you know, going to college and everything. It was never my thing. Like, all my classmates went to Mexico. But our friend that we're Young Life youth leaders together, she was turning 18. So and I spent so much time with this group of people. So it's okay. I'll make an exception. I'll go. What can happen, you know? So we end up going, have a great time. I remember leaving, telling my mom, you know, the normal bye, kiss, text me if you need me, I'll text you when I'm crossing, I'll text you when I get back. So we crossed back, text my mom that I'm back, assuming that she's asleep and everything. Don't get a reply. I remember leaving my friend's house at 7 a.m. on April 7th of 2019. Left her house. I stopped at Starbucks, and I stopped at Jack in a Box. Yeah, Jack in a Box right after, on the way to my house for breakfast for the both of us. And that's when everything happened. I remember walking to my house. I texted my mom before also that I'm on my way, you know. She always replies. Every time I leave the house, she's always awake when I come back, you know. Like, she was always that person when I went to hang out with friends and I got home late. She was there, either awake in the dining room table, sitting down on the chair waiting for me, or on her recliner waiting for me. And then we have an alarm, or had an alarm, and it would go off every time the door opened. She'd be like, Lindsay, you know, screaming my name. So when I walked in through the door that morning, she's on the table, and I'm like, okay, she could be asleep, or she's laying down, you know. And don't get a yell. I walk in. I remember not even closing the door behind me. It was just a screen door, and I didn't even lock it. And I don't know if I had the feeling that something was weird, but I put the stuff down, going in my mom's room, turn around the corner, like, Mom. And usually, like, my mom like flinches when I do stuff like that. So I'm getting closer. She's not answering still. And she looks like she's asleep and everything in her recliner normally. And I get closer, and usually when I get close and I say her name, she like jumps and everything. And I touched my mom and I was like, Mom, and then the thought of my mom passing away came to my head. I was like, no, this isn't happening. So I checked for her pulse. I don't have a pulse. So I called 911, put it on the speaker, put it on the bed next to us. And I'm finding the recliner at that moment while I'm getting a call with the dispatcher. And I'm telling the dispatcher my information. I'm trying to fly it out because I can't take my mom off the recliner because she's bigger than me and everything. And I'm starting compressions on my mom. And when I was ready to give mouth to mouth, that's when I knew that she had been gone for a while already. And like I start crying and I'm talking to the dispatcher saying they're pulling up the ambulance and everything. And I remember the ambulance walking in and they asked me to leave and they closed the door. And I remember sitting down on the dining table and I just put my head down because I'm crying excessively, obviously, you know. And all I can think about that, my whole world is shattering because all I've known is life with my mom, you know. Like, it's just always been us. And I'll never forget the first responder. It was a lady. She walks out the room, my mom's room. And she's like, do you have anyone you could call? And I'm like, no. Like, obviously I had people to call, but like, I was like, no, it's just my mom and I. And like, you know, I'm crying while talking to her. And like, she tries to like console me. And at the time, I wasn't talking to my dad, and I'm currently still not talking to my dad. But it's weird because 2 weeks before my mom passed away, we had to talk about my dad. And she was like, if anything's ever happened to me, your dad would be there for you. And like, I was so mad at her response because it had nothing to do with what we were talking about. I was like, Mom, like, shut up, you know, like, stop saying that stuff, you know, that stuff makes me mad. And so I called my older sister. We're 11 years apart. She's older than me, as I said. Lives in North Dakota. And she doesn't answer. So I'm calling my dad. Hadn't talked to him for months. He answers right away. And, like, I'm crying on the phone. And he's not a emo, obviously. And he's like... And I feel like when I told people, my dad and my sister, they didn't believe me right away. But, like, I was crying, like I guess it's surprising because my mom died unexpectedly. And what's it called? So he called his side of his family that live in Yuma. I'm not close to them. So when people ask me if I have family, I don't talk to them at all. So, you know, and I was mad because I didn't want them there. Like, I wanted people that were close to me, you know. So I called my Nina Karen, my godmother from baptism, and she comes over. And then my sister finally calls back. She was in yoga, and I tell her the news, and she starts crying. And then I call my dad's ex, because we were really close, and she ends up coming later on in the day. And all I can remember is that, like, I was crying. I remember I got really hot. Like, they had checked me. I got a temperature. My temperature spiked up really fast. And so I'm there alone for a while, and they're trying to tell me where you want to put the body, and I'm like, I don't know. Like, so I'm telling him at the mortuary by YPD, and then I guess I said a different name though because I thought that's what it was. So her body ends up going to this other place. So we had it when we came for the funeral. That's a whole other story. But when it came for the funeral, like putting everything together, we had to go to 2 different places to get everything set up, which I was really mad at myself for that, you know. But like, I was alone, I was crying. Like, that was not something I was trying to deal with at the time. So anyways, that's not even like part of the story. But so my mom passed away on a Sunday. my sister ended up coming on that Tuesday, I think, and then my dad came later that night and everything, and it was weird because I haven't talked to my dad, I haven't seen my dad in months, you know. And I remember when the news got out, my mom was really loved by the human community. I knew that when she was alive, but you don't really realize how much of an impact someone has on other people's lives until they pass away, because you see people coming by saying sorry, you know, and like sharing stories with you and thanking you for who your mom was, you know. And it was honestly the greatest thing to hear people appreciate my mom, because I think she didn't really know how much of an impact she had on other people. So I remember people would drop in and I couldn't sleep. I wasn't eating correctly. By 8 I would throw up, and I stopped going to the gym because obviously I didn't have the energy, or I didn't want to see people. And it's kind of crazy to think back, because after those weeks went by, I couldn't remember who I saw. I didn't remember who texted me, and I feel like no one will understand until they go through that situation also. So my sister comes in, we're starting to fix the whole funeral up. I already started without her to like get everything situated. It was the most beautiful funeral ever. I've never been to an actual funeral until my mom's, but like the church was packed. It was crazy to see all those people there. She had so many pretty flowers. As I told you guys earlier, we loved flowers. I had red roses and white flowers. And the reason I did the red roses because every time I give her flowers, they're red for her. I made it a thing for her, and she loved it. She honestly loved anything I gave her. So once she like appreciated the first roses I gave her, it was always her thing. So for Valentine's Day, going back to the story for Valentine's, I remember it was raining Valentine's Day of 2019, and I got her these flowers that were like on one of those pop-ups on 8th Street, and they were so pretty, like red roses. And then I ended up getting her chocolate covered strawberries, and then I took them to her at work where she worked at St. Francis School. But so I gave her those same roses. It was all on her casket, it was the decorations around. And then also when we left the church, we did a procession where a lot of people don't do it, but the funeral home, they closed down every like light intersection and we stopped just for all of the cars that were with us on the funeral. It was great. It was extra because my mom deserved every perfect thing to happen at her funeral, and it was honestly beautiful, like being driven and then seeing in the back how many cars were following you to go bury your mom and everything. And I'm very thankful for the people that helped put my mom's funeral together, because it wouldn't have been as great without you guys. And someone had not convinced my sister and I to talk, but I said I wasn't going to talk. My sister for sure wasn't going to talk. And we were telling this one person that, and I don't remember exactly what she said, but it was like, it's better to go out there and cry and then later on regret that I didn't talk at my mom's funeral. So my sister and I looked at each other and were like, okay. So I ended up writing a speech, and my sister is into poems. So one of the poems that we put on my mom's pamphlet at the funeral, she read out loud after me. So at this time, I want to share with you guys the funeral I said at my mom's wedding, or funeral. First, I want to thank all of you who are here today. It really means a lot to my sister and I. But as we are gathered here today in the memory of my mom, Grace Martin, so that together we may acknowledge and share both her joy and the gift that her life was to us, and the pain that her passing brings. In sharing the joy and the pain together today, may we lessen the pain and remember more clearly the joy. One thing I ask is that you don't think about our mom as gone, but just think about the reason that had you attend today. The way she touched our lives will remain, and I ask you to keep those memories alive by sharing them with me and with one another. The most important thing to my mom was making sure everyone was okay before she checked on herself. As we know, she enjoyed working at St. Francis and volunteered a lot at Union Catholic even after I graduated. She took what she did serious, and she would not trade it for anything. Everything she did was from her heart and for the right reasons, and I really will remember that. She taught me it doesn't matter who is watching or if you get recognition for what you do, but you do it because that's what you truly love. My mom is the strongest lady I know. There was times we would not be able to have food on the table, and she would act like nothing was wrong, and she would do whatever it took to take care of me. I truly knew if I needed her to do something for me or be there for me, I knew she would drop anything. She took care of me no matter what it came to. My mom was my #1 fan. She was the only one that stayed by my side my whole life, never left once. She always believed I was capable of anything I wanted to do. I'm so grateful she had me so involved from dancing, 4-H, playing piano, sports, and etc. I honestly do not know where or who I would be without my mom. Yes, we had our little arguments, but who's perfect? The bond we had was unseen and unbreakable, just so unique. We have 20 years of memories together from good and bad ones, but she never missed anything that went on in my life, and I would not have traded her for the world. I would have and will still do anything for my mom because I knew no one had me like she did. What hurts me is that she's not able to see me become a police officer, get married, or have kids. But as I do those things in my life, I will know she is with me because there will always be a piece of her burning in my heart. So, I said that speech, and I'm so grateful I did, because I feel like I would have regretted if I didn't talk at my mom's funeral. I'm glad my sister was able to say her little poem. So we ended up burying her, and I literally can remember the feeling of when her casket fell to the ground. Like, to this day, it feels so unreal. Like, I do not know how to explain it. Like, as I said in the beginning of this video, it's gonna be 10 months. And it feels like longer, first of all, then it feels like, wow, it's already been 10 months. Like, the feelings are just everywhere. I honestly do not know. I do know how I get through it. It's really because of God and my mom. I know my mom's watching over me. And if she didn't teach me to have a relationship with God, I know this time would be so much worse. I feel like a lot of people do not see me crying all the time anymore, and they think I've healed from it. And let me tell you, I have not. There's days I still cry. It hits me randomly. I could be in the car singing and I start crying, or I could be laying in bed and I see a picture of her, or I just have a memory, or I still replay when I found her. So it's really hard every day. People say it gets easier day by day to cope with it, but it becomes more real every day. So I think it's different for everyone. My mom and I were very close, so it makes sense, and I honestly do not think I will ever get over this. I will be able to cope with it a lot better, which I have been these past months, but it will always be very, very real to me. But while my sister was here still before she went back, we went and got a tattoo for my mom. And it's crazy because also a couple weeks before she passed away too, I had written down all the tattoos I was planning on getting, and I remember telling her, oh, when the day comes, I'm gonna get a tattoo for you. So I got Roman numerals when she passed away, and then my sister got like a flower right here because obviously my mom loved flowers. And then I actually recently just got this flower because of the red roses. I always give my mom, and then this flower represented me. And then, so probably two and a half, maybe 3 weeks of grieving my mom and just staying in bed, trying to not see anyone, you know, and people visiting and bringing food and texting me, and you know, just really just staying in bed, and I don't even know, like crying. Like that's literally all I did. Cry, went to the restroom, cry, go to sleep. Like that's all I kept doing all those days. And at the time before my mom passed away, I was an assistant softball coach at Yuma Catholic, and I was also a Young Life youth leader. And one day, after probably 2.5 weeks, 3 weeks, I wake up and it hit me. Like, if you knew my mom, she would not want me sad. Like, yes, she wants me to like miss her and everything, obviously, but she would not want me just sitting around crying and not doing anything with my life, you know. And it makes sense. Like, yes, Lindsay, you need to grieve, you need to sit out and do everything. But I will never forget when I woke up that day, I was like, whoa, like I didn't get my stuff together. Like I truly believe my mom was telling me, okay, Lindsay, like, I get it, you're sad, you can still cry every day, which I definitely did, you know, and you can cry every day, but I need you to go back to your regular life. And you know, but I told people that I was gonna start doing everything again, they're like, you don't have to come back, it's okay, you don't have to be here. But growing up, I always wanted to help people. Like, that's why, if you didn't know, I want to be a police officer with the Yuma Police Department. So my goal, my whole, like pretty much more than half of my life. And I just want to help people. I want to make a difference. And when I was going through this freshly about my mom, everyone knew that my mom had passed away, and a lot of people were like, you're really strong for doing this, you know, like still doing what you have to do. But I wasn't doing it to be called strong. I wanted to show people, no matter what life hits you, like brings at you, like, you know, there's always gonna be struggles or obstacles and everything, but it's the way you react to it. And I would not be thinking like that if my mom wasn't my mom. So everything I did, and I still do, I would say, okay, will my mom be okay with this? What will my mom think? You know, like that was a big thing when I started going out and doing everything. And I wanted the kids around me, because I was around a lot of high schoolers at the time from coaching and being a Young Life youth leader. I wanted those kids to see, okay, like we all go through something, but you can still get up on your feet and keep doing life, you know. Like, don't, it's literally you sink or you swim, you know. And I decided to swim, and trust me, sometimes I feel like I'm drowning, but you know, I'm still going. And also, for being a police officer, I wanted to open like a safe place for like juveniles that I would meet on the job, and wanted to help homeless people. You know, I honestly did not know what I wanted to do, but I want to have like my own like Crossroads mission in Yuma. And when my mom passed away and I was going back to doing my everyday living, I heavily had that idea that I have always had on my heart, and as I say, my heart right here. So I was like, okay, God, like, you're obviously telling me to do something about this idea. So I talked to a friend, and we came up with the Grace in Us, which I'm wearing this shirt, the Grace in Us. And if you didn't know, my mom's name is Grace. So I obviously named this community service group after her. And helping people have helped me. So what I say by that is from how many times we've fed the homeless, to donating to Emily's Place, to also donate to Crossroads Mission and the Yuma Food Bank, and we also did the Cedar Home in Yuma also. And just doing that stuff, in a way, you see that no one's life is perfect. Everyone goes through things, as I was saying, but it's crazy to say this, and people are like, what? When I say it, my life could be way worse, you know? Like, I still have a roof over my head. I'm able to graduate in May with a bachelor's degree in kinesiology. I'm able to wake up every morning and like walk, you know? Like, but there's people that are sleeping on the streets, or they can't even be in their own house because they're scared of someone they live with. So I'm glad I'm able to keep my mom's legacy alive, because she loved to help people. Like, no matter who it was, even if she needed help or we needed help ourselves, she was like, oh, you need help, okay, like, I got you. And I will never forget that. So I want to keep that alive for sure. And I'm so grateful. One day I was feeding the homeless at the old library downtown, and I met this guy named Travis, and he was one of the owners of Cafecito, the coffee shop downtown. And he was like asking what was I doing, and I was like, oh, I'm just feeding the homeless. And I gave him my backstory and everything, and they ended up having a takeover for us, which I was so grateful, because we got so much publicity from his takeover. We were on the radio, we were on KYMA News. And Travis and Ashley, if you're seeing this, I just want you to know that I'm very, very grateful for you guys. Also, at that time, I had gotten into CrossFit, which I went to Hidden Valley CrossFit in Yuma, and I try to go when I'm in town. And I was going at 5:30 a.m. and it was the best thing that I ever decided to do during that time, because I found something that I loved again, and I didn't think I would feel that way about something. So that community at Hidden Valley, they helped me so much without even knowing what was I going through and everything. They're just very positive people. They are very positive people. So if you're ever looking to work out somewhere or try something new, I highly recommend Hidden Valley CrossFit in Yuma, Arizona. But during this whole situation with my mom, I met a lot of people. I've also lost some friends during this time, but I've learned so much during these almost 10 months without my mom. I've had to do things alone, which I didn't even know what to do. Half of these stuff, you know. I came back to school because I know that's what my mom would want. I literally live for her, you can say. Obviously live for myself, but everything I do, I want to make her happy still, you know. Like, I know she's not here and everything, but I believe she's looking out for me, and like, I just want to make sure she's happy at all times, and I make her proud. So with that being said, oh wait, I was gonna end that vlog, but then I remembered a while back I put on my Instagram for people to ask me questions, and some of the questions they asked that have to do with what I talked about today is, how did you find the motivation to wake up every day after your mom's passing? So as I was saying earlier, I literally, after that day where I was like, okay, my mom's telling me, get my butt up and start doing what I need to do. Every morning I'd be like, okay, I'm getting up for my mom, you know? Oh, I'm going to go do this. I'm going to go help people and everything. Sorry, my dog's going crazy. Things that help you cope during difficult situations. It's really it's different for everyone. Like, mine was helping people and keeping my mom's legacy alive. So that was a big part of the whole coping and it's still part of the coping. I feel like I still have my mom around if I'm doing something that is in her name, you know? So it's really cool. But I also, CrossFit was a big coping mechanism for me. And just really, the people that you surround yourself with is a big part of healing yourself, you know? I feel like you're not going to heal 100% from it, especially with someone as close as like my mom and me, our relationship. But you will find something that will like calm your nerves and just calm you. Sometimes, honestly, like not every day, but stay in at home and just relax, put your hair up, like no makeup, or sometimes it's going out with friends, you know? You just have, it's gonna be different all the time. One thing might work for a little, then it's gonna change. So you just need to be ready for that. Let me see. How to cope with death of a relative and what we can do to move on. I told you in the last question how you can cope with it, but with the whole and what we can do to move on, you're not going to move on, especially depending on how close you were with that person. Everything I do, there's not a day that goes by I don't think about my mom. Like, it's not even once I think about my mom, maybe 5 or more times a day that I think about her, because everything reminds me of her. Oh, this little thing happened. Oh, like, if something happens, I want to call my mom or text her, or something comes up and I'm like, oh my god, I should tell her. I can't, you know? So you don't really move on from it, you learn to cope with it. There's a difference. How the Grace in Us has impacted me. I also shared this. It's impacted me in so many ways, where I was able to find out that I'm really here on earth to help people, no matter who you are. I think we're trying to help people as a community, but we have to help everyone. There's people that are in our house or our friends, or we'd be in the same building at work, and there's always gonna be someone that needs help. And it's not always homeless people, it's not always people that are in domestic violence. It could be just a regular person, you know? And I remember saying this to a friend over summer. I was saying, I want to save the world, but I can't save the world until I save Yuma. And ever since I said that, like, whoa, yeah, I just said that, you guys. Like, it really makes me think about what I want to do, you know? So with being a police officer, and then hopefully the Grace in Us becoming a lot bigger than what it is. It's a little harder since I am in San Diego going to school, but I will be back in May of 2020. So I'm really excited to see what the future holds for the Grace in Us. But I pray to God that I am to make it bigger, because I do want to keep my mom's legacy alive through it. And if you guys know anyone that would love to help in any way, donations, a big thing. I would truly appreciate it. We would have truly appreciated the Grace in Us group. But I just think I really can't save the world until I save Yuma, you know? And that's why I try to help with the Grace in Us with different organizations. So if you also have any other ideas of people that need help, please also share that with me. But with that being said, my name is Lindsay Martin, and this is my first vlog, and thank you for listening. Have a great day.